Are you a goblin who likes to hoard shiny clickety-clack math rocks? Same. Hey there, how's it going? Welcome to Water Songs Workshop, the place where I work on my character ideas, try out art challenges, and try to make your day a little bit brighter. So I have recently had a wave of inspiration hit me that I have far too many dice, in the best way possible. I have so many good dice that I haven't gotten to use for any characters yet. So what if I took these dice and made a new character that was inspired by them? Wouldn't that be cool? I think that'd be cool. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm loopy and sick. But let's... So basically, during Thanksgiving break, I just spent the entire time making these characters because I was so inspired by them. And I wanted to share them with you because I think it's a bunch of fun. So each one of these dice are going to inspire a character, and in addition to that, each one of them is going to be represented by a different stat, like one's intelligence, one's dexterity, one's charisma. You get the gist. And then in addition, I've hidden a d20 in every single one of these characters, and I hope you can find them all. But yeah, let's dive on in. Let's start with my very first dice. Let's start at the very beginning. A very good place to start. Again, loopy, I'm sorry. Sound of music hit me. My very first dice, I got them when I was playing Arios, who was a half-elf bard who eventually became a paladin. Weird that my very first character was half-paladin, but besides the point. These dice, I actually got 2 of them on accident because I shipped them to the wrong address. And then they got returned to me anyways, so I have 2 of the same set, and I used both of them for him. But I decided to use these dice as my intelligence build. My thought process was these blue, pink, and purple swirls that are really pretty would be great for like a conjuration wizard of sorts, someone who's excited to start their new adventure because the very beginning dice, your first ever adventure. Of course they're going to feel exciting to you. So I decided to make this halfling who is like ready to go out and explore and see the world, knew how to like conjure up magic. I made this character really, really busy because when I was first playing, my head was full of ideas swimming around. Nothing made sense. Everything was exciting and new, and I wanted to make sure I really captured that energy. When I was first starting off on my adventure, I had all these ideas swirling around in my head. There were so many ideas. Everything was new. Everything was exciting, and I wanted to capture that chaotic energy, so I put all these swirls throughout her clothing. I made the pattern very busy. I made sure that she was just a ball of chaos, and I really hope that came through because I think she's adorable. I could have done some better work on the anatomy, but I don't really know halfling anatomy that well yet, so... But I'm still pretty proud of it. But yeah, here's my first dice inspired to be a halfling conjuration wizard. This next dice set was given to me by a very close friend. I haven't gotten to see him in about a year, but we still talk at least weekly. It was given to me for Christmas in 2024, so last year. Not the most recent Christmas, because this is probably going to be coming out past Christmas. You know what? It was given to me in 2024 Christmas. And they have koi dice. They have little koi fish in the middle of every single one of these dice, and they're just the cutest things ever. Very sharp. They're very hard plastic, and they're just gorgeous. And I love this gift so much, and I've never actually gotten to use them really. So I figured at least I'd be able to like do something with them here. It's hard to use them when you're not playing a game anymore. The person who gave me these dice was actually in my very first campaign where I was a DM. So these dice are even more special to me because it means so much. But I decided to take these dice and turn them into a wisdom-based character. I wanted to make them a Triton-like person. Circle the Shepherd Druid that has like mystical fish swimming all around him all the time. I wanted to make sure that he felt like he was the watcher of these spirits, and I think that fits this person very well because he was constantly like looking out for his friends. He was just a very protective and kind person in general. So I hope you like my interpretation of these koi dice as a Circle of the Shepherd Druid Triton. Alright, we're gonna finish off this mental trio with Intelligence Wisdom by going to Charisma. These dice, you may recognize them, are Critical Role's Jester dice. These were given to me by my partner last Christmas, and I love them so much. I have gotten to use these. Look at the little cupcake on the d20. It is adorable. Obviously, I can't just remake Jester, so I had to twist this in a way that made sense for a new character. This pink and this like rose gold and these sparkles and that cupcake made me think, what if I made her a baker? And she was this just charismatic, like, here, have a cupcake sort of person, except not in Jester's voice, obviously. Don't you want the cupcake? More like a, here, have a cupcake. Just like a sweet little baker. I thought I'd make her a human College of Creation bard who uses her like inspiration in the form of cupcakes. Instead of like the bardic inspiration you'd normally get, she'd be like shoving a cupcake in your mouth and then you just be better at everything. But yeah, here is my finished interpretation of the Critical Role Jester dice as a human College of Creation bard. Alright, this next set of dice, I wanted something that was monochromatic in here, because I've got a lot of like multicolored dice. This one is just plain blue, but it is a beautiful shade of blue. And I wanted to make sure something in here seemed like a normal set, so you didn't think that I only had these wacko dice, which is mostly accurate, but I don't want you to think that immediately. I don't remember exactly where I got these dice. It was either with the starter set, or I found them at a gaming store, but I don't fully remember the story behind these. I just remember they were pretty. But I decided to make these the dexterity dice. Solid blue with the white lettering. Just seemed really interesting for like a watery sort of person. Just seemed really interesting for a watery sort of person. So I made them a water ganassi, and I made them a Way of Four Elements monk to really hone in on that dexterity, to make it that those fluid movements happen. And I made sure I put like a trail of water around him so you could see that he really knew how to master these elements. This one was probably one of my favorites pose-wise. Because you all know that I love water. My name's Water Song. Water's right in it. But yeah, here's my finished interpretation for these blue dice as a Water Ganassi Way of Four Elements monk. Alright, let's move on to one of my favorite finished designs. These white and gold dice, I think I also picked them up at a comic book store. They are so pretty, and I wanted to make sure... I did not want to make sure of anything. What I wanted to do with these, white and gold kind of gave me that angelic vibe, and I wanted to do like a Valkyrie, but I also only had like strength and constitution left, and you'll see why constitution is more important for the next one. So I decided to make this one a strength-based cleric. Light domain cleric, ASMR, and I wanted this angelic Valkyrie-like person with giant wings, power stance, someone who will rough you up in the most divine way possible. I wanted someone who was not afraid to speak their mind and do what they thought was right. So here we have my finished interpretation of these white and gold dice as a Valkyrie, or as an ASMR light domain cleric. These last dice are a very special set of dice from Extra Life. You can see they're blue and green, see-through, and they have the Extra Life charity symbol on the 20, It was given to me by a past friend after he got to a certain milestone in the Extra Life charity. They're absolutely gorgeous. Extra Life stands for helping those in need. I think when we did this, it was very much centered on children's hospitals. And I wanted to make this constitution as like a symbol of extra life. It felt more thematic and poetic that way. The colors kind of remind me of a peacock, and because the organization stood for bolstering those in need, I made them an Oath of Devotion paladin. I wanted to make sure they were powerful, regal, but also kind, and I thought that this was the best way to incorporate all this together. But yeah, here's my finished interpretation of these Extra Life charity dice as an Aarakocra Oath of Devotion paladin. And here's everyone all together. This is probably the cutest party with like the best color scheme that like matches across the board. And thank you so much for watching. I really enjoyed this project. Let me know if you'd like me to do this again. Actually, you may not have much of a say. I enjoyed this so much I might do it again for myself anyways. Would you make a character based off of them? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear all about your favorite dice. As I said before, I'm a little dice goblin. I want to hear about all the clickety clacks. Also, if you'd like to support me further, I have a Patreon. If you join, you'll be able to vote on upcoming art challenges. You can be part of the community. I'll give you special shoutouts at the end of the videos. And at higher tiers, you get free monthly commissions. So lots of great incentives. Also, a special shout out to my Sparkle tier members, PillageTheVillage, timepixie, and our newest member, Jackie. Thank you all so much for supporting me. It really means the world to me. I appreciate you so much. But yeah, I think that about wraps it up. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you next time. Keep being fantastic, and until then, I'll see you around.